Hey ho people, it's Stylosa and just Stylosa unfortunately because Mr. Kirioth, well, his boiler is totally broke in his house, and with it being minus 400 degrees outside, he almost passed away in the night. So he had to make an emergency call, and he's got a heating engineer to come round to fix his boiler, but I think the guy gave him like a comedy time of I'll be round anywhere between 12 and 8, which is a bit of a... Well, that's like 8 hours. I mean, what the hell kind of thing's that? I don't know. That's quite bad. So, I mean, now it's like 10 past 12. This is being recorded at on a Friday afternoon. And yeah, just as we were about to start recording, he gets knocked at the door and he has to go. He'll probably come back. But between me and you, I'd prefer if he didn't, because I don't really like the guy. Just between me and you, don't tell him. But if he does come back, we can probably make use of the lad. Anyway, let's crack on with the gaming news. So, on the 11th of December, when I can talk properly, there was a Diablo 3 cinematic, which was released at the VGA Awards, where Blizzard picked up the Game of God award, which I'm guessing is for, like outstanding contribution to the gaming industry, which... Whatever way you look at Blizzard, you can't deny that, their contribution to the gaming industry as a whole, has profoundly changed it or had a profound impact on it. I'm guessing that's what the Game of God Award's for, but if it isn't, I feel a rant coming on, so I'm going to go into detail. I mean, World of Warcraft, it introduced the MMO genre to, I suppose you could argue, mainstream. So, you had all the typical console players, people who are not really into MMOs, not your hardcore, I suppose you could say nerd types who were playing your EverQuest and were playing your all this and that. They're a small proportion of the market, but World of Warcraft opened it to everybody. Play with your friends, play with your family, all that kind of stuff. That's great. But on the downside, it's sort of produced this culture of I pay my subscription, so... Therefore, by default, I should get everything and get access to everything, and I don't agree with that at all, because the problem you end up with is, the problem you end up with is the current state of World of Warcraft, where nothing is really difficult. You get these hardcore guilds, which are, good players, but because the game's so easy, they just blast through the content the day it's launched. That's not hard content. That's content catering for everybody else. And I don't know, I don't really play World of Warcraft. Well, I haven't played World of Warcraft for about a year and a half now. Well, I think last time I played it was start of Cataclysm. And yeah, I never really bothered after that. But the thing is, like, I guess, from a business point of view, it makes sense to get more people interested into the game. But for people like me, who would like a challenge in a game, it's not really... I don't think I'll ever be tempted to go and play World of Warcraft ever again, because it's just like, what's the point? It's so easy. You're just going to get everything for free. So I don't know. I mean, but then on the other hand, if you look at the esports scene and you look at what StarCraft 2's been doing, that's massive. That is, and I really enjoy StarCraft 2. I probably enjoy watching StarCraft 2 more than I play it, which I think is the case for most people. Because it's such a I don't know. You can really relate. I guess it's extremely similar to watching a game of football or soccer or American football or, well, guess any sport really. You can see what's going on. You don't have to understand, all the tactics or whatever. You can just see what's going on. In StarCraft's case, there's an army there, there's an army here, and they're going to have a fight. That army's beat that one. Oh, that's great. It's entertainment. Football teams, two football teams playing together, or soccer teams playing together. You don't have to know about all the tactics or whatever. It's just, as Manchester United, well, they've scored and they're beating Chelsea 1-0. That's the excitement of the thing. And obviously that copies over to StarCraft 2 pretty well. But yeah, the Diablo, going back to the cinematic, the whole point of this little bit of a rant I've gone into, it was released at the VGAs, and it's your typical Blizzard, super polished cinematic. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anything better animation-wise. Well, I guess the only place you could go to find better animation would be somewhere like Pixar. Somewhere like a film studio that specialises in it, because it is very polished and it looks very good, but I can't help but feel it's a bit bland. It's like anybody could have sort of come up with a the main focus of it. However, the start of the video, which is like stills of almost concept art drawings, which are kind of animated, but it's stills. It's like the animation is the zooming in and out or the moving around of the still. Guild Wars 2 or ArenaNet did will have a very similar thing with their art design for all their trailers and stuff. What they do is they do the same thing like with stills, but sometimes it's not. Well, the majority of it is not with concept art. It's just with actual drawings of or just still pictures of models from the game. Like, but it is still a very stylized way of doing it. And it's it's quite striking, quite good. I mean, as far as I'm concerned with this cinematic for Diablo 3, that is the best part about it. The nice animated still sort of thing. It gives it a nice feel. But then the second half of the video, the trailer, is Deckard Cain in his chapel. The skies open up, a massive fireball comes down and blows a hole into hell, which is like, well, it looked pretty good, but again, I didn't really have that, oh my god, this is amazing. I was just watching it thinking, yeah, this is super smooth, super polished. I like the start. The ending was like, nah, whatever. It's like, okay. But there was a little bit of confusion. I wasn't sure whether it was the opening cinematic to the game or it was just a random cinematic or whatever, because they didn't actually make it clear when they put the video on YouTube and obviously showed it off. But it looks like they've changed the title of the video now, and it does actually say Diablo 3 opening cinematic, so I'm guessing it is the opening cinematic of the game. Or part of the opening cinematic, or one of the opening cinematics. We just don't know. I need a drink, my throat's going to collapse. I can't just say, Kirioth, do you take over while I have a drink? Because we'll just take the silence a second, 1 moment. Got some chicken cuppa soup. Oh, it's pure. Then we come on to the 11th of December still, so we didn't come on to anything, we just on the same day. Command & Conquer Generals 2 got announced now. Generals, a lot of people had a problem with Generals, and I don't really understand why, because, okay, at the Command & Conquer name, it's nothing like, Command & Conquer Red Alert, or, what's the other one? Tiberian Sun, or anything like that. It was a totally different game, but it was my favourite Command & Conquer game. I mean, it just had none of the factions. It had the USA, China, and GLA, and GLA were like the terrorist faction. Almost like the Taliban sort of thing. That's what they were like. Had no Tiberian on the map, no ore. You just got your money from a supply like depot next to your base sort of thing. But I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it was the first multiplayer RTS game I ever played. And I can remember now, like, when 0 Hour came out, oh God, it was amazing, which was the expansion to Generals. And probably, and in fact, you know what? I think it was probably, I bet you could easily say that 0 Hour is the best expansion that has enhanced the original game content. Because Generals was kind of bland. It was just like China, USA, the GLA were like fast moving, stealth attack style thing, almost like Nod. USA were like the technologically advanced faction, and China were like the brute force, big tanks, loads of troops faction. But with 0 Hour, you had loads of different types of generals in each faction. Like, you had crazy ones, like the Chinese had the nuke general. He was obsessed with nuclear powered stuff, so all his tanks had like nuclear engines in them. Like crazy stuff like that. You had the GLA, you had the demolition general for the GLA, who was like obsessed with like explosives and stuff, and you had the chemical general as well. And the Americans had like I think they had the laser general. I can't remember all the generals off the top of my head, but they had quite a lot. I think they had about 4 or 5 each faction did. They had the super weapon general, who had like a massive ion cannon. I think it was called something different actually in Generals, but it was like the ion cannon. And Aurora bombers, which were like supersonic bombers that dropped fuel air bombs out of them, and they were like grotesquely overpowered. And I remember you'd go into multiplayer lobbies, and it was like, you'd pick the super weapon general, hoping they'd approve the game and click play. But a lot of the time they'd kick it because it was like, no, you can't play the super weapon general. And it wasn't because you're thinking, oh right, you just turtle and fire super weapons, because a super weapon, a particle beam thing, it wasn't that good. It wasn't like a super one. But the whole thing that made the difference was this Aurora bomber, because it travelled at supersonic speeds. it could drop its payload before AA fire could hit it, missiles and guns and stuff. So you'd always hit the target. You might lose the bomber, and it was quite expensive. I think it was $2,000 or $2,500, but it caused that much damage. It was like crippling, you know. And obviously you could drop these on armies that were advancing towards your base, and it was kind of dodgy. But for me, generals, it's all. I mean, I've still got the originals, the boxes over there, and it's like something I'll always keep hold of because I had so much fun with it. I guess it really got me interested in the real-time strategy genre as a whole. I mean, it was a great game. It was crazy, like stupid, but quite good. But the news is Command & Conquer Generals 2 is coming out, and it's being developed by BioWare, but it's not actually being developed by BioWare. Like, I think EA have got this fascination of, they realise BioWare is a brand that people are starting to associate with quality games. Or, I mean, obviously they did produce a lot of quality games. They've produced some questionable games like Dragon Age 2, for example, which was just an absolute bag of shit. But I think EA is starting to brand or buy out other game development companies and just essentially brand them as BioWare whatever. I don't actually have the information in front of me now as to what the sub-name of the studio is, but it's like BioWare blah 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 are developing Command & Conquer 2 Generals. Now it's not like the core BioWare team, because Jesus Christ, they're an RPG team. You know, they make role-playing games, BioWare do. So, I mean, I take the name with a pinch of salt, but they are using the Frostbite 2 engine, which is used in Battlefield 3, and obviously looks quite good, and they're adapting that to an RTS. So, really, this should be the best-looking RTS that's been produced. They actually said it will reach new levels of graphic fidelity, simply because the engine it's running on is so good. I don't know anything about the game. Nothing's really been said. We don't know if it's going to be like, well, apart from it's set in like a modern warfare type of stance, although it looks like it's slightly in the future. I don't have dates, but I guess I could speculate something like 2050 type of war, still going on war with terrorism type of stuff. That, like, you know, the tanks look a bit more advanced, but I don't know whether it's going to be your standard Command & Conquer, your base building. I really hope it is, because there's something special about building a base. It sounds lame, but there is something special about building a base. I think with like games like Dawn of War 2, where you had the squad combat, and you know, I hope they don't do that with Generals. I don't want to see, you know, small squads of units. I want to see fairly large scale battles coming from a base type of point of view. But Dawn of War 2 was a good game, but I couldn't help but feel while I was playing that, I always, you know, wanted to build a base. It was like, why couldn't this just be Dawn of War 1 with better graphics? You know, I don't want to be in that, you know, go down that type of path. I'd like to see Generals just to take all the best features RTS games have, stick them in a game, give it, you know, the best graphics engine an RTS has seen, make it look really good, make it really balanced, have great multiplayer, and, you know, who knows, maybe it could contest with StarCraft 2. But I guess that's a bit of a long shot. A very long shot indeed, but you never know. But it is slated for a 2013 launch, so there is some time to wait. And no doubt more information will be announced. And actually, while we're talking about Command & Conquer, there is a browser game. Well, it's a social game, because it says you can use all your social media and all this crap, and really, that doesn't really tickle my fancy. And in fact, it's just milking the name. But it's I think it's called Tiberium Alliances. And it looks terrible. And I'm not even going to talk about it because it just looked totally terrible. It's just shite, garbage. Take it from Stylosa, it was garbage. On the 12th of December, there was a load of stuff coming out from Valve, which kind of started on the at the VGAs, where there was a weekly nomination video, and it had like all kinds of stupid numbers or whatever. And it's like, is this an augmented reality game? An ARG? Is it? We don't know. Is it? We don't know. Now, there's a lot of crazy stuff flying around, even things which are saying, no, it's not actually, it isn't one, they just were doing it to take the piss sort of thing. But William from Unit Lost has been around, and he gathered some information, so I'll read some of it out here. This is what William says. Arguably, the most far-fetched from my tired eyes are the star constellations behind Wheatley, allegedly taking the formation of various lambdas. Lambdas? I can't even say that. I don't even know what that word is. In fact, let's Google it. What the hell? A lambda is an expression. Okay. It seems I'm learning stuff as I go along, good lord. Anyway, the sentence above Wheatley during the transmission is some kind of crazy Russian, which says, observation satellite Lanthium? 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 I don't know, what? Anyway, this is the Greek name for Lanthium is blah 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 blah, which not only starts with another lambda, but also roughly translates into to lie hidden. Lanthanium or lanthanium is a chemical element with the atomic number 57, which by great coincidence places it in group 3 of the periodic table. I hope you're still with me here, because I was lost ages ago and I couldn't pronounce the words. Finally, all of a sudden, the Doug Ratman Twitter account, used as Portal 2's, well, used part of Portal 2's arc, has come back to life with crazy random crap like ominous stuff, like it begins followed by a series of numbers and codes and shit like that. Yeah, so it's pretty crazed apparently, but we don't know. I don't know. In fact, it's confused me so much reading it. I'm just going to quit that article because my brain has collapsed. I've gone from not being Actually, this coffee soup's going cold. Hang on. So yeah, I've gone from not having a clue to having absolutely zero clue now because I'm brain dead. Anyway, we move along to December the 12th, and we've got Mass Effect 3 exclusive trailer. I've not even watched this, and this has been reported by Cremazen, and he says check out the trailer shown at the VGAs. Shows off some multiplayer, I think he says. No, it features a Reaper and a Thresher Maw fight. But yeah, it's on the Unit Lost blog, and if I can remember, I'll stick a link in the description. Now, on the 13th of December, the Humble Indie Bundle 4 was announced. Now, there's about 50 of these indie bundles knocking around, and okay, I know why they're knocking around, because they're quite lucrative. I think that in one day, that Humble Indie Bundle made $1 million in a day. Now, it's not made it for the people running the bundle or the game developers or charity, but it's split between all three, and it's like, I would pretty... In fact, can you actually see on the website? You might be able to see, because I'm sure they've got statistics. Let's have a look. So they've got... So total payments to date have been $1.3 million, 260,000 purchases, average purchase price of $5. But what I was looking for was if it shows you the split between developers, charity, and the Humble indie bundle. But I don't think it does. And to be honest, I didn't expect it to anyway. Why would they show how much money they make? Because this leads me on to the next thing. They have got quite the competition now. Because let's face it, how difficult is it actually, to put together one of these indie bundles? All you do is contact the developers and say, look, I want to do a bundle. You get 4 or 5 decent indie games, and you say, okay, we're going to give a proportion away to charity, we'll give some to the developers, and we'll give some to ourselves, but what we'll do is we'll let the buyer decide the split, throw up a web template, and then just go for it. Because it seems to me like it's very easy to advertise these things. I've seen about 5, I think, on Rock Paper Shotgun, and it is doing it, they are doing it for a good cause, but I guess the cynical businessman in me is, it would be a very fast way of making quite a lot of money. Now, the Humble Indie Bundle is the premier one. But there's so many now popping up, it's just getting a bit ridiculous. But as a gamer, it's quite good, because you can actually, if you were a super cheap ass, you could turn up and pay like absolute minimum and end up with, probably now, if you went out and did it now, you could probably get yourself about, I don't know, 10, 12, quite good indie games that were retailing for quite a lot. I think Frozen Synapse is on one of the bundles. It's not on the indie bundle. It's on the Humble Indie Bundle. I think it's on one from Get Games or somebody. Yeah, I think it's a Get Games one. But that was £15. That was when that game came out. But yeah, you could go and just donate $1 and get the game, and it's like. So there's a lot of good gaming to be had out of that out of these indie bundles. But yeah, there seems to be a lot of them going around, and Is it lessening the impact of them? I don't know. But what I can say, like I said before, is it does seem like a very easy way of making quite a lot of money. If you want to throw up one of these bundles. On the 13th of December as well, we had a post from Ryko, and this is quite an interesting little game. It's called Void, and it's kind of like a time travel, different, separate dimension game. It's been developed by, I think it's developed by Chinese students from DigiPen, which is a, well, let's just check before I get it completely wrong, as I often do. It's an institute of technology, and I think it's in China. No, it's not actually. It's in Washington, but I think it was Chinese students, because all the, yeah. So you've got Zhao Xingwu, Liu Tao Xin, Chan Xin Hao, Tan Xi Ming, if I've pronounced that right. And then a couple of, Zolgan and Ravadran Mark. I don't know what country those names hail from, but there you go. It's kind of like, how can I explain it? I think Singularity was like this. Well, actually, yeah, Rico says in his post, but he says Singularity was kind of crap, and I do agree, Singularity was kind of crap, but the whole idea behind Void is, it's a, like a puzzle solving game. You've got to get through the world. You've got like a lens which shows you an alternate, like an alternate reality, or that place in the past or in the future. It doesn't quite say what it is, but it shows you like a different version. So I don't know, for example, if you walked into a room and it was on fire and you had no way of getting around, you'd pull out your lens and it'd show you like a nice clean hallway that you can walk through, and then you have got like another item. I think it was like some kind of like, it generates a void or whatever, and you use it and it puts that time frame or that dimension into your dimension, so you can then get through the flames. It's quite a good idea, and I would guess that it's almost like you could kind of say it's almost like the natural progression of Portal. When Portal 3 comes out, okay, Portal 2 had the jelly stuff, the crazy gel and whatever, but you could see Portal 3 having this type of stuff, where you can sort of see into the past and the future, and it would make for some quite funky puzzles, that would. But this game is free to download. It runs in the Source engine, but I think it's kind of an old version. But I can't get it to run, and I don't know why. I've tried, and it just does not run. It just crashes to desktop. You get the Valve logo, and then it crashes. The guy with the red valve in the back of his head, and then it just crashes, and it's gutting me because I've wanted to do some videos of it. Maybe I might be able to get it work a bit later on, put a bit of time into trying to get it to work, to pump out some content, because it would be pretty funky to have a go of, to be honest. But yeah, it's free, and I'll stick a link in the description of the video so you can grab it if you want. Now, I guess the other major news this week is the Old Republic pre-order, pre-play period is open now. What they're doing is they're sending out invites to everybody who's pre-ordered the game, so you can, obviously start playing the game before everybody else, because you've made a commitment to pre-order the game, and that's your reward for doing so. But they're not actually giving everybody access at the same time. What they're doing is they're giving, it's like waves of keys. The first waves have gone out, and the next wave will go out, and the next wave, blah blah blah, leading up until the 20th. Now, I'm not too sure. It's not exactly fair, because it's like, if you got your code, say, yesterday or the day before, you've got like 4, 5 days, 6 days to play the game before it comes out. Yeah, somebody might get their key on the 19th of December, which is kind of lame, because you're only going to get 1 day, and it's like, what? That's a bit dodgy. I'm not too sure how it works, if it's like, the earlier orders get the key before, which would make sense. That's how I do it, but I don't know. But that's out now, and I've been watching a few clips of some of the like the level 20 to 30 stuff, and I have to say, it does look quite good. From my impressions of level 1 to 10, when me and Kirioth did the playthrough, which is complete on the channel, by the way, now, the last episode went up last night, I couldn't help but feel it just felt like I was playing a World of Warcraft clone, with a far better story element to it, because BioWare, you could say they're the gods of producing story-driven games to a point. You know, they've got enough practice and history behind them to suggest that they are. And it's like, you know, it was enjoyable, but it didn't really feel like anything. And unfortunately, when you look back at the price and you think, oh my God, it's £39.99. Well, I think it's £44, 45 English pound, which is like about, well, I don't know, what would that be in dollars? About $60 something like that for just the standard base game off Origin if you want to pre-order it. Now, there's obviously other places you can order it from. I mean, being in the UK, you could get it from somewhere like Tesco Entertainment or, well, I guess Amazon, but anybody could get it from Amazon and it would be cheaper sort of thing, or play.com. You can probably get it from between, I don't know, £35 to £39, which kind of makes a bit more sense. But going back to my impressions of the game through levels 1 to 10, I was not impressed with the graphics, and I know I keep banging on about it, but I simply was not. Like, I just thought they were terrible. They looked massively dated. The characters looked like they were forged from plastic. It was quite bad. The environments they didn't look like they had any depth. Like, they looked kind of small, really. And in the distance, it literally did look like a still image. It wasn't actually, you know, a 3D render or anything, which, okay, you can't have super Skyrim style bloody vistas going off into the background because, you know, that's going to crush performance when there's 100 odd people in an area sort of thing. So I can understand from that point, well, to a point. But from some of the stuff I've been seeing, like I've seen some stuff on Jesse Cox's channel, the OMFG chap who seems to be, he's changed the design of his channel to Star Wars The Old Republic, so I'm guessing he's going to be doing a lot of content on it. And some of the places look quite good, like the big places, like the Hutt's main city. It looked like something out of Blade Runner, and it looked massive, and I thought, oh my God, that looks quite good. And a lot of people have been saying, or well, there've been reports as well, it's hard to tell from some video clips. There was a Total Biscuit's got some clips up, but it's hard to tell when the quality is 720p, and it's not the best in code quality, so you can't actually, you know, full screen and sit back and think that looks good because it's dead blurry and blocky anyway. But people have been saying the graphics are a lot better since the beta. You know, they've added better shadows, better AAs in the game for a start, and all stuff like that. And I don't know, it's kind of tempting because it's like there is a void. I know me and Kirioth spoke about this, an MMO void, which is like, okay, we might intend to fill that with Guild Wars 2, but when's that going to come out? Sometime next year. And it's like, maybe it's worth getting the Old Republic and just, you know, it's something to burn a couple of hours on a night. You know, when you finish being smashed on League of Legends, which is often the way, or whatever game we were playing at the time, it's like, you know, a nice little chill out thing. But my main concern is the price of the game, and it is very expensive. And also, what I think's stopping me as well, like, maybe I would have gone out and just pre-ordered the game, like, because I think I've seen a deal on Hot UK Deals, which is a website in the UK for deals, and I think it was £29 off the Hut. But people who were ordering it and saying they're not actually getting the pre-order key, and it's like a bit of a mess, and it's like, I don't know. Also, we are getting the hardware from BioWare. We're getting the keyboard, we're getting the mouse, and we're getting the headset. So it would make sense to test it out with the game instead of randomly just using the hardware on something else, which doesn't really make sense because after all, it's been designed for the Old Republic. So I guess on that kind of a business point of view, it does make sense to get hold of it. So who knows? But what Raiko's post, going back to his post on the website, is apparently the developers have been listening to what people have been saying during the beta. So they're going to bring in new content. So they're going to add new content to the galaxy on an ongoing basis. So they'll add new worlds, you know, new operations, flashpoints, and solo content. I don't know what operations and flashpoints are, but I'm guessing they're PvP stuff. And is an operation a raid? I don't know. They're going to add advanced guild functionality, where they're going to bring in what is essentially a guild hall, but it's going to be a guild capital ship because it's Star Wars and you're in space, so you get a capital ship, which could be kind of funky. They're going to bring in UI customization as well, because you can't actually customize the UI that much apart from changing. I think you can change the location of the chat box, add more hotbars, and change the size of the chat box, and maybe change the UI scale. Not really that much you can do. But they said they're going to be giving people more control over the UI, which would make sense because WoW has got a massive database of UI enhancements, and a lot of them did make the game better. Some of them made the game shit, like Recount, because you had absolute tossers running around going, "Gotta do DPS." So they did that much fucking DPS to pull aggro. Oh, good lord, pull aggro off a tank, and the tank would get crazed. But then it was World of Warcraft, and everybody was a cabbage. Oh, dearie me. Anyway, we've got PvP, and it says what they're going to do is, or what they have is an entire team dedicated to PvP. And all the higher level areas, like massive open world PvPs, I think that says Ilum, but I might be wrong. I'm not a Star Wars nut. But people haven't seen that content yet because nobody's, max level, are they? Everybody's like, I don't know, I guess the highest level's probably something stupid like level 25, 30 or something maybe to the super hardcore. I don't know, maybe not even that much. I just don't even know. I don't know how fast you level in the game, apart from 1 to 10, which takes about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours maybe, which is fast, let's face it. It's not super slow. But it's hoping that slows down as you level up. Also, space combat. They've got, now the space combat in the game is kind of it looks dumb. It's like you control a ship, almost like an arcade style game. You're on rails, like you don't control where you go, and you just follow the fleet. You have to attack the enemy fleet. So if you're the Republic, you're attacking an Imperial fleet. And it's really just like a little reaction-based arcade game. And I think you get various rewards for it. But what they're saying is they're going to expand space gameplay. And I wouldn't be surprised that if ultimately you could actually play, do quests, proper quests in space and stuff like that, and have proper space combat between fleets and things like that. Because it is there, the mechanics are there to be able to do it. It's like they just didn't have the time to do it. You can also, I believe, get stuff for your ship, like you can put items in. So again, it's like another little thing, that the game's got that's unique to it. They're also going to be working on something called a legacy system, which is the ability to select a surname for your character. It's just the start of something much bigger. Soon, the legacy experience and levels you earn will grant your characters access to powers, objects, and other cool benefits. So, I don't know, and more. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, it's up in the air with Old Republic. It's like, on the one hand, me and Kirioth could start doing content on it. On the other hand, there's a lot of channels doing content on it already. As I mentioned, you could go to Jesse Cox's channel, Cynical Brits channel, I think. What's he called? Swifty. From the Razor guy, he's doing something as well. Like, he's focusing on it. So there'll be a lot of content coming out for it. But I guess, I don't know, from a game's point of view, maybe it's worth... I don't know. Leave a comment below. Do you think we should go ahead and get it? Should we ignore it? Because I don't think we were exactly that positive about the game during the content. I mean, specifically the early content I put out, because my first impressions were really bad. I was like, oh my god. The Bounty Hunter video, which was the first one, I was really taken aback by just by the graphics, really. I just thought, oh dear, this is quite poor. And it did feel a bit clunky and a bit blah blah, and it's like, ooh, but the storytelling was decent. And I guess that's the thing though. I mean, it's an MMO, but it's almost like you just want to play it single player, or that's what it felt to me. I don't know, it's strange. It's like, I'm not really in a position to comment all that much on it because I don't have the game, and I've only really played to level 10. I don't know anything past the start areas. So I don't know. But I mean, if you've got any more experience with the game than I have, then by all means, let me know. What should we do? Should we go ahead and get it? Shall we just ignore it and carry on as if nothing's happened? Who knows? And I'm going to have to bring it to a close now because my voice is absolutely collapsing. But the last thing we've got is it's Christmas time in League of Legends, and there's also a new champion. Cremazion's reported this on UnitLost.com, and we've got what's her name? Ari, the nine-tailed fox. She's got 9 tails, and she's got stupid fox ears on her head, and she's like some anime-style crazed woman from Japan. However, the champion does look quite good. I mean, Riot seem obsessed with these fast-moving champions, or champions that can jump around for a bit. If you look at the last couple, you've got Graves, who dashes forward. Well, he dashes wherever you point the bloody pointer. you've got Fizz, who jumps all over the place, and you've got this nine-tailed lass who, her ultimate allows her to jump around 3 times, like, and every time she jumps, she fires a spell off, and it's like, what? I was watching the, I think it was the ESL. I can't remember the name of the competition, but it was on last night, and somebody played as Ari, and she was quite devastating. She's like a mage assassin. She can get in and out really fast and do quite a lot of burst damage. And I might actually save up to get her. Because I was thinking about getting a jungler, because I haven't had a jungler, and it's like I've played mid quite a lot, and I'm like, should I get a jungler? But I think what I might do is just save up for her, because she looks like she suits my playstyle. Because I like skill shot characters more than anything else. So I don't know, but also it's Christmas time, like I said, in League of Legends. So you've got the fancy Christmas map, and like Chromazin says, if it's not snowing where you are, well, it's snowing in League of Legends, because the crazy winter themed map is online. Although sometimes you don't get it, I don't understand that. Sometimes you get the normal map, and sometimes you get the Christmas map. Strange. A load of skins have come out as well. Although Toy Town from Unit Lost, who plays a lot of Tristiana, will be kind of disappointed because there's no Elf Tristiana available this year. So sad. But the skins that are available are Toy Soldier Gangplank, who probably looks like somebody from the Nutcracker. I've not actually seen that skin yet. I'll have to go and find that out, but I'm guessing he does. He must look like one of the bloody soldiers from the Nutcracker. Snowmadinger, which is Hermadinger as a little snowman. Festive Maokai, who Chromazin actually has and says looks amazing. He just looks like a Christmas tree. And Mistletoe LeBlanc. You know, I don't really like LeBlanc. That's why I call her LePlank. But yeah, they apparently all look grey and fantastic. And if you're up for some Christmas skins, then go and get some. I mean, I guess it's quite good for Riot, because when you have these time-restricted skins, people think, oh yeah, I'm going to get that skin. And nobody else will have it until next year, or only people who were playing the game at the time. It'd be nice to see their bank account or the transaction list as people are just splurging money left, right and centre on all the crazy Christmas skins. Anyway, my voice is giving up because I've had to talk solid without a drink because of my poor preparation. Well, I had my cup of soup, but it was only half full when I started. And it's now gone. Like, my voice is going to quickly go. And I also had a bit of a cold as well, but I'm coming over that now, so it's all getting real good. Yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll leave it at that. It looks like Kirioth hasn't bothered to come back because he's a scumbag. Hopefully you've enjoyed my rantings. Make sure you subscribe to Unit Lost. Check out the website, unitlost.com. Follow us on Twitter at UnitLostGaming. We've also got a Facebook page, which is just simply Unit Lost, I think. Oh, let's check it. Where are you, pig? Yeah, facebook.com/UnitLostGaming. That's our official page, and that's where all the wind goes down. We also got an IRC channel, which is on QuakeNet, and it's #UnitLost. And that's getting kind of popular now, which is good because you can always, have a chat with me or Kirioth or any of the other people who are involved in Unit Lost there, because we're kind of active in that quite a lot. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I've been Stylosa. This has been Gaming News, and it's the, what's the date? The 16th of December. And I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.